It was great. Really good start to camp. A lot of guys making a lot of plays. And, it's just a start, so we're excited to keep stacking days.
Yeah, it's easy to talk to guys coming out of the portal about why this school, but was there a specific pitch, a specific message that led you to this place?
For me, it was really just the opportunity, and I love Coach Hamden and his offense and, the pieces that, are going to be put in front of me and the guys that we have. So, just really excited for the opportunity.
Hamden talked today about physicality in the SEC, specifically saying he maybe made some mistakes running the quarterback a little too much early on last year. Have there been conversations already about what that role will look like for you in terms of staying healthy in the SEC?
Yeah, I think for me it's just got to be smart and aggressive. There's going to be times where, I might have to put my shoulder down on got to have a situation, but, also got to protect myself. It's a long season, with some really good, strong opponents. So, got to stay healthy, but also got to win games.
Smart and aggressive. How do you do that?
I think it's a game by game and play by play mentality. So, when we need it, we need it. When I got to get down, I got to get down.
2 veteran receivers left, but some talent coming back. I know they're all new to you, but what's the receiver room look like?
Really good. A group of guys that came to work all summer. I sent a text, hey, we're gonna throw 5 p.m. on Sunday, and we got 12, 13, 14 guys out there. So really encouraging to see that, and then really good start to camp. Guys are hustling, running fast off the ball, making a lot of plays. So a lot to work on, but a lot to build off of as well.
You put up good numbers at your last stop, but you were an SEC quarterback once upon a time. How much of a help is that for you now? Being an SEC quarterback.
Yeah, I think the experience, was really good, and there was a lot that I could learn from then, at both stops. But I think just being in the SEC and having experience with, the speed of this game is different than, everywhere but the NFL. So I think it's the strongest conference in America, when it comes to speed and competition and strength of the guys. So just that experience and knowing how to handle it and prepare for it.
Stoops has talked a little bit about the benefit of having a guy like Bo in this room who's so mature, who's just been around so much, this program specifically. What can you learn from him specifically?
Oh, no, Bo's awesome. He's a guy that I can come talk to after, we get our rack of 4 or 5 plays, and, I can come talk to him and ask him what he saw. And I think he's going to be a big tool for us, in the season. Just, personally, somebody that I can come talk to on the sideline and, talk through certain plays, certain looks, what he likes and what he doesn't like. And just also kind of mentally, too, as he plays like a mentor role for, me and all the quarterbacks. So just having him, I think, is a huge strength and a huge tool for our quarterback.
What excites you about the offense?
To everything, from the O-line. I think the O-line's made huge strides. All those guys do really well. They're the last to leave the building every night, and I think they take pride in what they do. And then, everywhere from our running backs too, I think we're going to be able to run the ball really well, and that's going to open up a lot for, our receivers to go make plays down the field.
How have you seen yourself evolve since you first got here at Lexington?
I think just as a teammate, I came in, I wanted to be the best teammate I could be, and that allows me to, now that we're rolling into camp, take more of a leadership role, and, I bonded with a lot of the guys on the team, and, just make sure that we're all headed in the right direction.
Zach, do you feel like you've fully adjusted at this point to being here in Lexington now and being a part of this program?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
What makes it that way? How do you feel that comfort?
I think just like I was saying, the biggest thing for me is relationships with these guys. It's been a really quick, turnaround, a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, but, just spending as much time in the locker room and with these guys as I can, just to make sure that when we get to the season, there's that trust built.
What are your thoughts on your receiving room this year? How do you like the guys that you connected with in practice?
Oh, I love it, man. Like I was telling them, it's a group of guys that was willing to work, and I think they all push each other to get a lot better. In the spring, there was a couple guys that stood out, from the sense of hustling every play, finishing every play, and it's brought the whole room along. So now we're out there and we got, 3-4 guys running full speed. They're taking pride in their blocking assignments and just moving forward.
Zach, will you talk about your relationship with Cutter Bowley, what that's been like?
Oh, it's awesome. I think that we have a really healthy quarterback run. Me, Cutter, and all those guys, I think we build off each other. We laugh and joke when the time's right, but, when we're out there on the field, I think we build and we learn off each other's mistakes and off the good things there.
This isn't your first move to a different school, so as a quarterback, just what's it like to become a leader? How do you try to take that role?
Right. I mean, it just starts with being a good teammate and building trust. If those guys can't trust me on the field, then, we're a sinking ship. So I think that it starts with being a good teammate and showing up every day and being the same guy every day and making sure that I'm somebody that they can trust.
The O-line is literally called the Big Blue Wall, but at least on paper, it seems like a bigger Big Blue Wall than we've seen here the last couple of years. Just from a physical standpoint, what do you see out of some of those guys in that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it starts with their mentality. Like I said, they take pride in everything that they do, from pass protection to run blocking. And, Coach Bush says at every meeting, explosive start up front. So, them taking pride in knowing any play could change the game and treating every play like that.
Zach, what has the rapport been like between you and the wide receivers so far?
I think it's all about building chemistry, and that's what we're doing. We put a lot of work in the spring and a lot of work in the summer, and now it's just time to go put it together.
How do you view this opportunity for you this year?
Oh, for me, it's an opportunity to be back in the SEC. I know there's a lot of people that said I couldn't get it done, but that's why I came back.
Do you feel like you've got something to prove, and what do you want to prove?
Absolutely. I mean, it's more about proving it to myself. 7 years ago when I started college, I just wanted to be a guy that could go get it done, win games, win a championship. And, being back here gives me that opportunity.
What do you think about this offense?
I love it. The coaches, the guys, everybody's taking pride in what they're doing every single day. And, we call it suffering. In fall camp, we watched a video of the Tour de France guys. And it's suffering. It's 4 hours a day of suffering, and that's what we got to do in camp, is suffer to get to where we want to be.
What's the off season like for you and Coach Hamden, and how do you guys kind of get on the same page going into a new season?
Just watching a lot of film and a lot of preparation. What is he like? What do I like? What do we want to do? And what do we want our identity to be as an offense?
Has any of those sessions jumped out at you? Have you learned anything new about him or something that's impressed you?
Right. I mean, so every session we try to be productive. Every time we meet, we've put together a really good, idea of who we want to be as an offense and how we're going to move forward.
What's the relationship like with you and Cutter, and then even Bo? He's been around here for a long time. He knows a ton of football.
Right. I think we have an awesome quarterback room. All those relationships are strong. I learn from guys and guys learn from me, and I think that's what you need in a quarterback room. I mean, I've been part of teams where you need 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks in the season, and I think, it's important for us, just thinking about this team, everybody's got to be ready.
Hey, do you want those guys? Do you like the fact that those guys can push you?
Absolutely. I think that, if I was the only good quarterback on the team, there would be an issue, here in the SEC. So I think it's awesome.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Just want to say, hey, Carl Nathan.
How you doing? Zach Calzada.
Yeah, I do the public address announcing here at the stadium. So
yes, sir.
Good luck to you.
Absolutely. Yes,
Nice
sir.
to have
Thank you. Great to meet you.
All right, Zach, you've been here for, 5-6 months now, it feels like. Just where have you think you've grown the most from when you got here in January to now it's right to start?
I think just really my relationships with the guys. I think that, it's hard to lead a group of guys when you don't know them. And that's been one of my biggest things since I got here, is getting to know a lot of guys individually, building those relationships, building those connections, and building that trust. So come game time, we're a lot more of a cohesive.
Speaking of that relationship part, I know the QB kind of O-line relationship is kind of unique. That's a group with a lot of pressure on them, based kind of recent years before you were here. It's a lot of new guys. What have you just seen from them and kind of building that relationship? What kind of year do you think that group is going to have?
Oh, I love that group. I spent a lot of time with all those guys, and we built really strong relationships. So I'm excited to see, how they perform this year. I think, even from the start of camp and going back to summer and spring, that's probably one of the hardest working groups on our team. Some of the last to leave, their coach is harder on them than anybody else we got. So just seeing them take pride in what they're doing and how they go about their days is awesome.
You said in an SEC Network interview, I believe earlier this week, that urgency is kind of a key for you all. We've heard some other guys say that. Just, why is urgent such a big, selling or kind of thing you're all hanging your hat on?
Well, so we've had a short amount of time. I mean, 30 guys new, I believe, or something like that, and it's just, the team didn't have the success they wanted last year, and we're taking pride in the fact that, since January, the time is now. Every day, we have to come in and get better. And, the season sneaks up on us. So just coming in every day, and the time is now, taking advantage of everyone.
And for you, do you feel like more of that because this is your last year?
Yeah, and I think I embraced that last year. And it's kind of carried me into this year. And just, it's a little different when you treat it like your last year. And that's a mentality that we try to, I'm glad that we have a lot of guys that feel that way. It's their last year as well. And just trying to spread that mentality to the team. And the time is now, and we don't want to leave the season that it's great.
How's it different? You say you treat it differently.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think just like the sense of urgency. When it's your last go at it, your last opportunity, it just feels different. You just wake up in the morning ready to go. Sometimes, you wake up tired and it's like, mind over body. It's time to go. We don't have time to waste.
And for you, just getting back in kind of this kind of pro style offense, do you feel like it's clicking for you now? You're
Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. And it was a bit of an adjustment. I spent the last 2 years in, a spread offense, throwing the ball 50 times a game. But back in the SEC, like Coach says, all explosive start up front. I think, just being consistent, staying ahead of the sticks. Being able to run the ball efficiently and make good decisions as a quarterback.
One of those receivers went here for the spring, but Harley Gilmore. What have you seen from him that you kind of got to get to work with him for a little bit?
Oh, he's an explosive guy. I think he's, he can take the top off defenses. He's fast. He's really good with the ball in his hand. Really all those guys. Harley, Kendrick, J-Mac, Fred, and the rest of them. Even like DJ Miller, the young cat. Troy Stellato. All guys that just come in and they're ready to work. They push each other too.
Yeah, I know. Seth McGowan, he was very involved in kind of an Oklahoma passing game when he was there, even last year at New Mexico State. What can kind of he bring to the passing game?
I guess they're going to have to see this season. But it's good though. We like him. We like him a lot.
Thanks, Zach.
What impresses you about Cutter?